Well, soon you'll be spoiled for choice when it comes to banking. If you're fed up with your bank, if you don't like your bank anymore and you want to switch, up until recently you've only really had 4 or 5, and if you're wealthy, 6 players from which to choose. Suddenly there could be as many as 4 new players in this market by the end of the year. Challenges of transforming the financial services sector, of course, linger. We talk about some of these issues with the new chief executive at African Bank, and her name is Basani Maluleke. So you are launching this product that you don't want to talk about into an environment where Discovery is testing on its own staff its new banking offering, and you can bet that it'll come with bells and whistles and incentives to draw more people into that ecosystem that Discovery has. Your boss at FNB, Michael Jordan, has taken a couple of colleagues into starting Bank Zero, and of course there's yourselves playing in the same spaces as a banking sector that's becoming more attuned to the fact that finally there's real competition happening.
Absolutely. And I think it's an opportunity for people to start getting more bespoke transactional banking, more bespoke cards or credit cards that they can use and do different things with. I think the environment is super exciting. I think a year from now, people are going to have a very different idea of what banking could look like and should look like. And I think what's been very interesting in looking at the space a little bit more deeply as well is that, you know, if we're all creating niches and different kind of capabilities to be able to approach the market, it becomes a question of how do you carve out that part of the market? How do you speak to the people who will be most attracted to your brand and to your value proposition? And what we're really excited about at African Bank is in the latest customer satisfaction survey that was published about a month ago maybe, we were tied second with FNB around customer satisfaction. So our customers love us. The customers who deal with African Bank and have done so for many years are very loyal. They believe that we
which is
on
fine,
a very...
but they're a base of people who've borrowed money from you for an awfully long time. You need to transform them into depositors and get them to get their friends to be transformed into depositors. Absolutely. At a time that everybody else wants the same thing. It then becomes a marketing game. How big is your marketing budget? Because you have to spend an awful lot of money on advertising.
It is a marketing game in a lot of ways, but it's also a pure proposition game, right? So if you have to acknowledge as well that a lot of the customers who enjoy being with the African Bank, we often get the question, when can we actually start banking with you? Why are we spending money with other banks instead of spending money with you, given that you are the people who are here for us and you deliver a service that we think is very valuable? So I think there definitely is an opportunity there, and we think that the value proposition that we have in the transactional banking product will absolutely go a long way towards getting that base. In terms of the marketing budget, I mean, we have massive discussions about this at EXCO all the time, and I think the key is we obviously do not have the same firepower as the big banks, because I mean that would absolutely take an enormous amount of firepower to compete with them. But I think the reality is we're dealing with so much more clever ways to be able to market to people, particularly if you think about digital marketing and you think about the fact that social media, and so many people love to be on social media. And I think there's great opportunities there to work cleverly and to make sure that we get the people that we want to get in.
And 21st century marketing is kind of different. I mean, Newlands Spring, which is a brewing business in Cape Town, went off to Newlands in Australia and told Australians that the beer was brewed in Newlands, Australia, and have created a great viral campaign of Australians telling them how wonderful this beer is when they think it's brewed in Australia.
That's unbelievable.
And then the joke is, of course, but hey, it comes from Cape Town, and you get disgusted Australians all over the place. But that gets global traction because it's light-hearted, it's cheeky, it's opportunistic, and there is a space in the banking sector. Can you create a Nando's in banking? Was that not the goal? Because to get traction, to get that sort of social media presence, one needs the brand personality.
So that's something I'm very passionate about. And we're putting a lot of effort into deciding how we want to go out to the market. And I agree with you. I think you have to take a little bit more risk.
But banking's a serious business because people's money is
absolutely. But people are people as well, right? They want to feel a brand affinity. They want to feel a connection, which is what Nando is very good at doing. So obviously we can't go out into the market and be politically incorrect. But I do think there is an opportunity for us to take a little bit more risk in how we communicate and to make people feel that affinity and that level of connectedness to the bank. You know, the other thing that I feel strongly about as well is, so we have about 2,000 customer-facing people in our organization, and about 90% of the time they talk to our customers in vernacular. And I think the key here has got to be, if we're going to be African Bank, how do we how do we convert that into something that speaks to being African and can make people feel that extra joy at being African? And because now I'm talking about my big dreams, I guess, it's also about kind of, people have this wonderful idea about the Soul Spring and all of this stuff and, loving again being South African. And I think there's an opportunity for us to really kind of embrace that and find a way to communicate to our customers that makes them feel like they really are African and they're part of this incredible
How different
momentum.
is this business going to look 12 months from now? Let's give you 12 months. Let's give you till March, April 2019. Is it going to be a fundamentally different banking sector by then because of all the competitors that will come on board? What does African Bank look like?
So by now you would have seen that we've refurbished and modernized our branch network, and we're definitely becoming a much more digital bank. So I suppose if you think about our balance sheet, you spoke about it earlier, we would have had to start our refinancing of the organization because we've got a maturity window coming up next year. So that will look very different in terms of what our balance sheet looks like from that point of view. We spoke a little bit about retail deposits. So because we anticipate we will have a large number of new transactional banking customers. We will have a much bigger proportion of our funding that's coming from the retail banking market. But I would also like to think that it will be a much more, I suppose, noticeable bank in terms of being identified as being African, which I think at the moment we can still do a little bit more work around. So I think that's definitely going to happen. And I think what I'm excited about for our people specifically is that we're doing a lot of change management with our people around ensuring that they understand, adopt, embrace digital. So when you walk into our branches, you'll be seeing a lot more people on their phones and on using data in our branches and I suppose communicating with us through different platforms. And lastly, last but absolutely not least, is we're in the process at the moment of replatforming our whole organization. So we're putting in place an omni-channel which will enable a customer to start a transaction, be it opening up a transactional banking account or a deposit account or buying insurance, and they can start that in a branch and finish it at home on their couch, or finish it in our call center with a call center agent who will be able to assist them with things like document upload, which for some reason it continues to be a challenge for many people. Yes. And I think that's the point, right? That it's going to be this organization where customers can operate seamlessly with us across different channels. They'll have access to a suite of different products to assist them to make their lives better. And we're building a data science capability to enable us to ensure that we're able to deliver interesting products at the right time to the right customers and at the right price. So I think it will be a bank that's very digital, that's much more customer-centric and customer-friendly. You're going to have staff. I mean, our staff has got one of the best engagement scores, in fact, in the country. So we have a very, very engaged and a staff that really loves the bank. And I think the key is to ensure that that continues. So that's definitely one of my kind of key priorities, keeping the culture where it is.
At that point, we must leave it. Basani Maluleke, thank you very much indeed. She was just beginning to have fun. That's where we leave it this week. But thanks to our guest, Basani Maluleke, this evening, the new Chief Executive at African Bank. You can give us your feedback via Twitter. The handle for that is @ENCA, or directly to me @Bruce Business using the hashtag ENCA Taking Stock. Until next time, thank you for watching. Good night.